looks brilliant, give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. Yeah, you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my head again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my head, get you out of my head again.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Marvel Talk. I am Oled and Fries, and I'm joined by the one and only, the chief of police here at our local establishment,
What?
Andre C.
No, I do not want that job.
You are
No,
the chief of policing here at our local establishment. It's been established.
I'm doing a bad job then.
Well, you need to start watching more of those Mark Talks episodes. That's the first place you can go ahead and police some shit.
Oh God, no, he's the one I don't want to police. What are you talking about?
No, that's where we start with the policing.
No,
Start there.
No, I gotta start. I gotta start with your show.
No.
You're in a
you don't
T show.
It's fine.
I gotta be policing that low device hatred.
You police me. I'm fine.
I gotta police that low device hatred you two have. It's just wrong. It's wrong and immoral.
I said nice things about Lola Vice.
Yes, but you've said so many bad things that one nice comment doesn't make up for it.
Well, when she starts doing nice things, I can keep saying more nice things about Lola
What the hell
Vice.
just happened? I don't like this view.
So, for those that don't know, because I'm just having fun here, StreamYard changed a bunch of things. They made a bunch of features more publicly available, but they also made a lot of stupid decisions in doing that. But one of the fun things we found out on taking over is that you can have different sized boxes, including porthole windows. Andre doesn't like those.
Did you just say porno windows or porthole?
Porthole.
I heard porno.
Like a ship.
I heard
Andre,
porno.
we're going to start with the policing with the Japanese wrestling update, apparently.
No, I'm chief of police. I'm in control. You made me chief of police, bro. So I'm in control.
All right. Speaking of things that are out of control, Marvel's back with a good show.
Yes. Okay. So I started watching episode 1, and it has a very odd first quarter of the show. And I'm like, I don't know if I like this. And like, because I know it's going about, but then everything just goes insane. And that's when I started really loving the show.
I love that this was an epilogue to WandaVision.
Yeah, it's just those opening bit. I was like, because I guess we're getting into it as it is. We were put into a world that she was put into by Wanda
Yeah.
at the end of WandaVision,
Yep.
to essentially contain Agatha.
Mhm.
It was cool, but being that I know what all this, like, I have a feeling like I know the character, I was like, I don't like this version of this. I didn't care for
Oh, I
police.
loved it.
I didn't.
I loved the true crime version of Agatha. I could do with by the way, I could do the whole show of it too.
If it was just a kid, if okay, my thing is like, just give me the magic, give me the magic, give me the magic. I just want because
Oh,
I
trust
just
me, they gave you the magic.
no, I know, but the entire time sitting through Law and Order Agatha edition, yeah, I'm just like, okay, it's this isn't the show. Get me to the good stuff. Get me to the good stuff. Get me to the good stuff. None of it was bad. Like none of it was bad. I enjoyed it all. It's just I was waiting. I'm sitting there waiting for when because we saw the trailers. She's Agatha. It was odd.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that aspect of it a lot. As Andre says, we open with Agatha humming the song "The Witch's Road."
Is that an actual song?
Yes, it's the Ballad of the Witch's Road is an actual witch's song.
This is the first time
It was not created by or for Disney.
This is the first time I've ever heard this song. So, yeah,
I found out in the last half an hour that Andre knows very little about witches.
I had a friend who was a Wiccan. That's about it. That's all and then Harry Potter. That's all I know about witches and wizards.
I'm just looking something
up.
Ballad of the Witch's Road. How far does this go back? I'm seeing them as far back as 1911, and I'm sure it goes back beyond that. That's actually the Battle of the White Horse.
Yeah,
that's a different good song.
I have no idea.
But there's I'm almost certain that the Ballad of the Witch's Road actually exists. But
now.
It certainly does now. There's a performance of it from D23. If you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that out. That was fantastic.
I like the version they did in the shows in episode 2. So we'll talk about.
That too. Don't get me wrong. There's that too, but they did a live stage performance version of it at D23.
That's cool.
With the entire 7-person ensemble, because it included Rio Vidal and Teen.
Oh yeah, Rio Vidal wasn't part of it on the show.
No, she was not. Neither was Joe Luck. Joe Luck was upstairs, but we'll get to that.
Teen. Yeah, Teen.
We'll get into that because there's a lot of good stuff with that. We start with, like Andre said, we started with the true crime and Law and Order. It's more True Detective and Mayor of Easttown stylized Law and Order type show. But it's watching it back, it's so much better because.
Okay, I've only watched each one of these episodes once, so I haven't gone through and watched repeatedly.
I've watched them each twice now, and going back and watching it again, knowing that we're in the hex, and knowing that she's the only one in the hex, makes this Law and Order-y type show much better. So maybe that's where you need to get your enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
Because the portion where she's talking to Herb over the line, or John Collins as he should be known because he's no longer in the Westview hex. The yellow police tape that she's talking to him over is actually his bed of yellow roses in this front yard, which I think is a great little twist.
Yeah, I understand those little jumps, but I don't know. Because I knew we were going to get out of this and get into whatever it was. I'm like, this isn't a police procedural. Let's go.
Like, remember, we have 9 episodes. We have a little bit of time to dive into this is where we are. We're catching people up who might not have seen the movies. Because this show does a very good job of telling you the only important portions of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. That the Scarlet Witch is dead. That she was crushed. and that the Darkhold has been destroyed in all versions of reality by fire. Which we see throughout this show, with the dead body supposedly belonging to Wanda. We're being led to believe it belongs to Wanda. Rio Vidal constantly being here, trying to pull Agnes out of the hex.
Mm-hmm.
We also see in the library when after she finds the catalog card and she figures it out, she goes over to the section of natural sciences where there should be more versions of this book, and all of those books are set on fire. We hear that it was a fire that was started. Like, I like that it's tying in all these pieces from the end of WandaVision, pulling in the stuff from Multiverse of Madness, telling us a full story. Also telling us that it's been 3 years that Agatha's been stuck in this state. Which puts this story somewhere in 2026, which is very interesting to find out. But no, I love the procedural stuff. We get Aubrey Plaza being introduced as an FBI agent initially by the chief of police. Aubrey Plaza is just absolutely fantastic in this episode. In this one in particular, we don't see her much in episode 2. We see her predominantly in episode 1. And I think she does a really good job of pulling Agatha along this storyline. She's the one who kind of sets the story in motion, keeps pushing the story along throughout this entire first episode.
Yeah.
I thought that her character, like, she's willingly playing along. She knows Agatha's in this hex, and she's willingly playing along at points to convince Agnes that Agatha that she's not in this, playing as Agnes. Like, there's so many little moving parts.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the clocks are all set to 3:33 in the police station.
I never noticed that.
Yeah, both in the 2 scenes where we see the clock in the police station, they're both at 3:33. And if you add 3:33 and 3:33, you get 666, which is the number of the devil, which means Mephisto.
That's if you believe in real math. Come on.
Mephisto confirmed.
It's Ralph Bonner. We all know it's Ralph Bonner.
No, he got away. So there's a deleted scene that was shown in the WandaVision Steelbook that Disney released. But there's a deleted scene where he goes when all of the real services get in and Wanda brings the hex down, he cuts off his ankle monitor and escapes.
I just want more Ralph Bonner and Jimmy Woo in this show. I just need a little bit of them just to show up in the show at some point. I just need
probably not going to happen.
I need resolution.
But we continue along the story. Joe Locke is upstairs, and we see a scene at one point where Agatha is going through a child's room, the room of Nicholas Scratch. Senor Scratchy, Agatha's son, Nicholas Scratch. Andre's not done his research.
My brain does not want. My brain is not working tonight.
I know. I feel bad picking on Andre, but if this were the other way around, you would be doing it to me.
Oh, 100%. It's been a very long week for me. Yeah, I know you're talking. I have an idea of who you're talking about now that I realize it. Yeah, okay.
But yes, Nicholas Scratch is a comic book character that is the son of Agnes in the comics. He is part of the Salem 7 in the comics. He helps create the Salem 7. In other forms of media, Nicholas Scratch is also another version of the devil. So that's good to know. Again,
that makes
Mephisto.
sense.
But he's like the leader of New Salem. At one point, he possesses Franklin Richards, which could be interesting considering we're getting ready to introduce Franklin Richards into the MCU in some form or fashion. Even if they're not going to acknowledge him as Kang, I assume we're going to get a Franklin Richards.
Probably.
But we're going through this room of a child who's obviously no longer with us. It's a long abandoned room. There's a bunch of rabbit paraphernalia throughout the house and especially in this room, which again, Nicholas Scratchy, Senor Scratchy. So basically, her familiar, which is the rabbit, is probably named after, if not being her son, Nicholas Scratch. Apparently, there was a deleted episode of WandaVision, because remember we always talked about how there were supposed to be 10 episodes and all of a sudden there were only 9? In the 10th episode, the boys and Monica were supposed to take on a demon that was the rabbit. The rabbit would change from the rabbit form to his demonic form. And then they would have to do that as opposed to taking on Hayward.
Okay. Interesting.
It's also nice to know that this series was created by the same people who created WandaVision, so there's a lot of synergy between the two storytelling episodes, which makes sense. But the teen is upstairs in one of the other rooms trying to get something from Agatha's house. Agatha finds him. She tries to chase him. She falls off her own roof, which is very Simpsons.
I like that. To me, that feels like her going back to her, like, it's like, let me throw some of my comedy roots in here, roots in my old comedy days, like working with like Sandler and stuff like that. That's what it kind of feels like to me with her falling off the roof. That's just like, let me get some funny in here.
Yeah, and it was fun and it was enjoyable. The chase starts, and of course, the best villain of any chase is an old person driving a car. And Mrs. Hart, or Sharon Davis, however you want to describe her, hits him with a car.
Kitty. It's Kitty.
It is Kitty.
It'll always be Kitty to me.
But no, she hits him with a car. He's still alive. Agatha yells at her and tells her to get back in her car. She tries to say, he came out of nowhere. I didn't see him. She didn't care. And she brings him to the police station to go ahead and interrogate him. And this is where the real fun of this episode begins for Andre.
Yeah, this is where well, not quite yet. Well, yeah.
This is where the magic starts to happen and everything starts to really kind of...
Yeah, because she already had all the stuff with Aubrey Plaza's character where they were talking and everything, and very starting to, as a lot of people are saying, they're very gay. This show is very, very gay, and we all love it. And I was like, yeah, this Agatha all along is very gay, just like wrestling. It's like Effie says, wrestling is gay.
Absolutely.
Agatha all along is gay, and I love it.
Oh, absolutely! It's fantastic.
I love the dynamic there. That was one of the cool parts about this opening Law and Order thing, was the dynamic between Aubrey and Agatha, just Catherine and her just playing off of their characters, just the way they did it. It's just so good.
Yep. She interrogates the teen who has no name, and the teen who has no name, even though certain bits of people have sent in clips closed captioning is naming him Billy. But again, he's apparently not Billy. He's apparently not Billy Maximoff, as he's told multiple reporters during the production when they were asking him, "Are you Billy? And have you watched WandaVision and
Multiverse of Madness?"
And he goes, "No, because I'm not that character. That character has no bearing on what I'm doing."
We all know he's freaking Wiccan, man. Just God damn it, it's Wiccan.
There are two versions of Wiccan. There's the Billy Maximoff version, and then there's Billy Kaplan. Both of them are essentially the same character. It's just two different versions of that character.
I know, but it's Wiccan in the end.
Yes. A homosexual witch, male witch, who's going ahead and dressing the way he's dressing. Yes, he's absolutely 1,000% Wiccan. There's no doubt in my mind that he is going to be Wiccan at some point. But we have to get there. He's a very smart-mouthed, very sarcastic individual in this show, which was great in this first episode. He asked what he was up there looking for in her house, and he said the respect of her peers. which was just fantastic.
I like it.
Midway through the interrogation, she shows him the photographs like any police officer trying to get somebody to confess. He's like, what? They're just pictures of flowers. And we look down, and not more than 2 seconds ago, these were pictures of a crime scene. And now they're pictures of Herb's garden.
Hmm?
Very convenient. He then starts chanting in Latin. And she gets real mad, and he goes, why do you keep looking at that painting? And we see that the two-way mirror that was there is now a painting. It is a painting of Shakespeare's. What was that play? What's the Is it Othello? The play with the three witches. I think it's Othello.
I don't remember.
I'm not a good Shakespeare person. I did not enjoy my Shakespeare.
The only three witches I know are from
Is
Lightning
it Macbeth?
I don't know. Might be Macbeth. I don't know. I'm not a Shakespeare guy. I know Romeo and Juliet. That's the only one I know.
Yes,
And
but there's no witches in that one.
I know. That's the only one I don't. It's the only one I know because I love the '96
It's
movie.
Macbeth.
Baz Luhrmann.
It is indeed Macbeth.
Baz Luhrmann's Romeo plus Juliet. Great movie.
No, it's really not. It's a Baz Luhrmann movie. Anyways, we move on.
Movie.
She starts to accept that something really weird's going on. And she goes back down to figure out what's going on. She's like, well, the body's here. I know the body's here. So she goes to the morgue very, very late at night or very early in the morning. It's hard to tell.
Very dark.
Very, very dark. So she goes there and she sees the body, and there's scarlet hair draped from underneath the cloth, which is ironic because the Scarlet Witch doesn't have scarlet hair in the movies.
Yes, she did.
She had bright red hair, but definitely not this tone because this tone
whatever.
Is
the
very
color
soft.
The color faded after she died. Whatever.
Either way, Agatha's trying to figure out what's going on, and we get Aubrey Plaza again pushing her and pushing her and pushing her until she finally figures it out that Wanda's dead, the Darkhold is destroyed, and she starts pulling off her clothes in the different versions as she's going back through the episodes of WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one we got was the clothes in episode 8. Then we got the clothes in the Malcolm in the Middle episode where she had Naughty on the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got the workout episode where she was dressed in the 70s, 80s workout clothes. Then we got the outfit from the Brady Bunch era where she was outside with Herb when Monica Rambeau got thrown to the house. And then she went back to the black and white Agatha.
Yep, from the first.
And then she pulls this off. And by the way, I love that aesthetic. By the way, I want to take a moment to talk about the team here. I don't know how they did this, but sensational work by the post-production team to have an entire full color background with a monochromed Agatha in the middle of the shot, with elements in the shot moving in color, because she'd already hit the lamp, so the lamp was moving, and the light reflecting off her is the same light reflecting, like all the light sources were working together. It was sensational. Absolutely great job by the
However
team.
they did an insanely good job.
It looked like, I know there's no way that they're not two different shots, but don't ask me how they did it because I can't tell you. But it was sensational. Absolutely absolutely incredible shot.
Yeah.
And she continues pulling off that last outfit, and the light takes over the whole shot, and the whole thing goes bright light. And then she's in her house, and she's naked.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not bad enough that she's naked, she then goes and tries to get answers from John Collins next door. Completely naked.
Oh, so good.
And John Collins is very, very, very uncomfortable for this.
But the fact that he didn't just go, bye, is impressive. The character itself would stay there and have the conversation.
And he tells her that she's been like this for 3 years, and that very recently she's apparently caught the true crime bug. So this apparent true crime thing is apparently very new. It's only been a few days, apparently, according to him. And everybody in the town is very nice to her, and they bring her groceries, and they do all that. They make sure to play along with all the things that she's got going on. So whatever other things she's been doing for the past 2 years, they've just been playing along with her, which is just fantastic.
Yeah. Excuse me. Sorry. But yeah, I laugh at it. I'm like, okay, so you didn't so you can't think to maybe put this lady in a mental institution?
Nope. They just let her be the strange lady who talks about all kinds of weird things like she's on TV.
Oh, so stupid.
I love it. I think it's great. I think it's
hysterical. Oh, I love it, but it's so stupid at the same time. I'm like, God.
She then goes back inside, and she puts on a robe finally, so she has some clothing on for finally. It's about time. First time we've seen female butt in Marvel in the MCU is she turned around and walked away. They like they did with Thor in Thor 4, the terrible Thor. We do see Thor butt there. We see Agatha butt here.
Not terrible.
It's an absolutely terrible.
No, it is not.
It is. Anyways, moving on from your terrible Thor takes. She goes back into the closet. She's like, she hears all kinds of noise. She goes back in the closet. She opens it. She goes, oh, so not much an arrest as a kidnapping.
That was so good.
Which was such a good line.
Yep.
And she tries to use her magic, and she can't. And she's trying to figure out what to do to get her magic back. And Rio Vidal blows the door open. And she's in her magic attire now. She's no longer, because Agatha's out of the spell, she's no longer the agent. And she's just full Rio Vidal. And they get into a really fun fight here.
Yeah. A really good fight.
A very sexually charged fight.
Oh, yeah. Because Marvel is gay now.
Yeah, we don't know what the connection is, but there's obviously some sort of love connection, like past loving relationship that went really bad.
We all know what the connection is here.
We don't. They have not told us word one of what happened. They're letting us all believe that we know, and for right now we have to go with that. But Marvel has not told us one word of whether or not they were a couple or not beforehand.
They were a couple. We all know they were.
I agree. I definitely think they were a couple. And they were into some kinky stuff because the blood stuff seemed to really go for them. But, you know.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
It's a limit for me, but for them it was game on.
And I love how it's juxtaposed with Teen, like all tied up, but like hopping around the house.
Go down.
But then he starts hopping around. Then he gets up and he's like hopping around trying to get free. It was so good.
But again, it's a well choreographed fight between the two of them. The main portion of this we find out is that Agatha can't kill Rio and Rio can't kill Agatha. The two of them can't kill each other. They both specifically tell each other that.
Yeah, because
at the end of this,
Agatha will end up absorbing her powers, but her magic will kill Agatha.
Yes, she could do it.
And then there's some kind of bond that just makes it so that Rio can't kill her. Yeah.
We also get at the end of this fight, we find out that they come to an agreement that Rio's only going to fight Agatha once she has her powers back, when she's at her best. And Rio's like, fine, no big deal. Oh, by the way,
the best line was, let me get my purple.
Where you are.
Yeah. I just love how she was called, let me get my purple.
Yep.
I loved it.
Just playing into the Marvel thing of what the different color witches do different things.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, that will not change in this. If you saw, there were bits and pieces in episode 2 where we saw different colored magic getting ready to be used during the Battle of the Witches' Road. So we now know what other color witches use. What color they use.
What's her name's orange?
Yeah, it was orange and gold.
Yeah.
In this one. But she tells us that the Salem 7 is coming for Agatha. And the episode essentially ends.
I had to look up who they were because I was not familiar with them.
Yep, and basically it's. Andrew, you can go ahead and take it away with what the Salem 7 are.
They're essentially 7 people who have the ability to change into different creatures. Like they can morph into, one is into human like lion, I think the one's human like bear, just a bunch of different creatures they can turn into. But again, the Salem 7 in this show didn't seem the same. Yeah, they had like the features of animals. Yeah, like, but if you look at the actual Salem 7 from the comics, they're not just the animal; they're a humanoid version of the animal.
Yeah, so we have Bruticus, Gazelle, Hydron, Reptilia, Thorn, Vacuum, and Vertigo.
Yeah,
of the original Salem 7 from the Scarlet Witch comics. Obviously, there are other members in different ones, and they always take on different things. Assuming we're not going to get Alpha Dog and Ghost Wave in this version.
Alpha Dog.
Alpha Dog, who, by the way, does not turn into a dog. He can alter the density of objects. So. But no, like Andre was saying, Bruticus is like a lion-like humanoid with red horns. And in this match, in that form, he has super strength and durability. Gazelle, obviously, is a gazelle, a cloven-hoofed deer-like person. Hydron is a fish man. Reptilia is a snake-like form.
We got an Aquaman in here.
Yeah, Hydron turns into a fish man who can control streams of water.
Dude, he's not even as cool as Aquaman. Jesus.
I mean, but Vacuum turns into a featureless purple humanoid that can fly, become intangible. It can control air and wind in vacuums, which is pretty dope.
Yeah, that is cool, but just being able to move water and you look like a fish? Nah, I'm good. I don't want that power.
You know, it's the 70s. It is what it is.
It's not the 70s. Oh, I guess they were.
That's when it was created. All those characters
were created. I realized what you meant as soon as those words came out. I'm like, oh fuck, they were made in the 70s.
Yes. But so episode 1 basically ends here with us trying to figure out what the hell's going to happen next. Mm-hmm. Agatha's out of the spell. And we move on to episode. By the way, there are some great post credits here. Go ahead and take a look. There's all kinds of
all the different animations,
paraphernalia throughout the things, whether it be in written word, whether it be in movies, whether it be in television. There's a Simpsons witch thing in here with Lisa Simpson.
They did a Bewitched thing in there too.
Yep.
Yeah.
From Agatha basically looking like Bewitched from the WandaVision stuff.
Yeah. Pretty much everything that Disney had rights to or was public domain that they could play with, they did.
They did, and that's great. The other thing we didn't mention, and we're going to mention it here as we get ready to go to episode 2, because it becomes important going into the next episode. One of my least favorite movies of all time, one of my least favorite popular movies of all time, is going to be heavily, heavily, heavily inspiring a lot of what's going on here, which is The Wizard of Oz.
The movie.
During the True Detective typey intro that they did during this episode, every shot on that essentially involved having the yellow police tape looking like the yellow brick road. Mm-hmm. When she's talking about the dead body and how it was crushed, and she asks, "Is it dead?" He uses an exact quote of, "It is most certainly, absolutely," like something like that, dead. Mm-hmm. Which is the words said by the coroner for the Munchkin people in The Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
And
why don't you like The Wizard of Oz?
It's a terrible movie. I hate it. I don't like it. I hate it.
Okay, so the problem isn't the movie. The problem is you, sir. I'm sorry, because that movie is glorious. That movie is glorious, and everybody else in this world understands that, and you're alone on an island of crazy.
I'm not on an island alone. I guarantee you there are other people like me who don't like that movie.
But the island is very small. You're on your very small island with your few other friends who don't like Wizard of Oz. Or don't at least appreciate it.
We have a cool island where we don't have to put up with this terrible movie. It's great.
But there's nothing on the island, so it's not cool.
We don't know that. There could be lots of things on this island.
No,
Anyways, moving on to episode 2. This episode dives heavily into the idea of the witch and the witch's coven, which is really fun. I like this. Joe Locke is the star of this episode. Aubrey Plaza was the star of episode 1. Joe Locke is the star of episode 2.
Sure, he was there. So far, he's my least interested character on this show.
Oh, there's so much good stuff with him.
There's some funny little bits, but everything Agatha's doing, everything that the other witches are doing, I've enjoyed way more. His reactions to things have been fun, but I still don't. He's still not. I still want to know. I care more about Agatha, and then the relationship she's having with these other people. I want to see more about Agatha and Rial. I don't like his story is my least favorite so far.
I am entranced with the idea of what Joe Locke's character is doing and what's going on with that story. It is by far my favorite part of this entire show.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what they do with them and revealing that he's Billy Kaplan and he's Wiccan, but he's the second version of Wiccan. But I'm still
there's another
more
alternative for him that's not Wiccan, right?
Who's that? Speed? It's not gonna be Speed.
No, he's not gonna be Speed. He could be a reincarnation of Nicholas Scratch, Agatha's son.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. She said, and she did say that that she calls him her familiar in this.
And she called him her pet a couple times. She called him Toto. In the first episode, when she sees the lock of hair inside the amulet, when she thinks back on that, that's when she gets interested in him and what's going on with him in the first episode too. So there's a very good chance.
Yeah,
he also says, I know so much about you. I've been learning about you. How he knows a lot about her. It could be because he's been looking for his mother.
Yeah, I just feel I don't feel like it's gonna be Scratch because again they're building Young Avengers in the universe and he'll be. I feel like he's going to be Wiccan into it. That would be really cool if he ends up being Scratch, but it just I don't see it.
Because Rio makes at one point during the second one, I believe it's one of the witches that she's talking to, talks to him like, "Oh look, it was Jennifer Kale's character, the lady with the snake oil saleswoman, as we'll call her."
Oh, Satchel Amanda.
Is that who it is?
Good. Yeah, she's from SNL. I love her so much.
But yeah, no. She's when she's talking when she sees Agatha with a young man, she goes, "Oh look, another child sacrifice for you," which could be a reference to the fact that Agatha had to sacrifice Nicholas Scratch in order to gain the Darkhold the first time.
Yeah. Again,
there's lots here that there's lots to tell in 7 more episodes. They have 7 episodes to do a lot of work. But my favorite part about their storyline between the two of them is every time he tries to talk about his life, the spell that he's under, exactly. You see nothing. Yeah. You hear nothing from him when he's talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is fantastic. I love that. I love that there's a little bit of mystery to this.
Yeah.
I love that there's something, and it's something between him and her, which is why I think a lot of people are going down that potential second road, as in like, we think it's Billy Kaplan and we're all on board for that. But there's this other idea with why would she not be able to know? Why specifically is she not able to hear what's going on?
Well, I don't think it's just her. If he started to explain himself to anybody else, I feel like it would be the same thing. and that's
And
going to get
I'm
revealed.
interested to see now that he's part of the Coven with them on the Witch's Road. I'm excited to see if that's the case going forward. But they go ahead and they start recruiting the other witches. They go ahead and start with Lilia Calderu, played by the fantastic Patti LuPone.
Yeah.
Fun scene where they pretend like they're a southern mother and son who are trying to find gold that their dead husband left.
Oh,
And
so
Calderu
stupid, but
plays
so
along.
good. I loved it.
Yeah. Patti LuPone or Lilia Calderu plays along, and then all of a sudden, when she knows that Agatha knows that she's fucking with her, she goes, "Yeah, but you've been under somebody else's spell. You've been under somebody's control for about 3." And she tells Agatha's story. She's like, "All right, she is the divination witch we need." And she tries to get her to join the coven. And there's that fantastic scene that we've all seen in the ads where she's like, "What witch in their right mind would want to join Agatha's coven?" And Joe Locke gives this great, haughty, look, and Agatha's like, "I'm not looking for right-minded witches."
I love it so much. It was perfection, man. It was perfection.
Lilia Calderu sees into the future and gives her the name of the rest of the witches that she needs to find.
And then it's revealed that her name's on the list.
Yes, so she's part of the coven.
Yeah.
We then move on to the snake oil saleswoman.
Yeah, Jennifer Kale.
Yeah, trying to sell.
Played by Sasha Yamada. Yeah.
Trying to sell a probiotic candle to these two white ladies who are just absolutely.
And then she comes in, and then Agatha comes in asking about the jade eggs. I'm like, ha ha ha.
Now, isn't it? That's another Marvel reference, because isn't the jade egg something that started with Gwyneth Paltrow? Isn't she a part of this?
Well, it's the whole Goop thing with selling those and everything. I don't think she created the jade egg.
No, I don't think she created it, but she's part of this whole thing. That's a nice little Marvel twist.
Yeah, it's a shot. It's not a shot, but it's a reference to that she's essentially a Gwyneth Paltrow style character in this. Yeah.
And Joe Locke brings up her unfortunate past with some of her products that have apparently scalded people's skin and burned them, and they're doing a class action lawsuit. And Agatha goes, our people don't do well in court. Going back to the Salem witch trials.
Yep.
Just a whole bunch of fun. This is a fun little interaction. We then move on to, I believe the next one was the girl at the store.
Alice Wu Gulliver.
Yeah, so they're in a store and she's like security for a mall security, and they forcibly screw up her job so that she ends up getting fired.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently her mother was a witch, and something mysteriously happened to her. So they're going to help her go ahead and go into her, past and find out what happened to her mom, and that's how they get her on board.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go ahead and get.
Well, they all come together because she leaves somebody out, and they're all the thing. Everybody shows up, and then she's like, "Fine, I go get my green," because they're talking about the Green Witch, who
they need an Earth witch.
So she goes and she gets Sharon, Mrs. Hart.
And the reason why she gets Kitty, and this is great, is because Lilia Calderu says, "No, it's not a name. It's a heart, a black heart." She's like, "That's because you were using a black pen." This goes back to Rio Vidal earlier in the episode, saying that she has a heart and it's black.
Mm.
So black heart, Rio Vidal,
because I feel like it's
we'll see. We've seen in promotional stuff later on that she's dressed in all green and her magic is green.
And the reference is to the Wicked Witch of the West. Yes. But yeah, I feel like, again, she realizes it's supposed to be.
And she's doing everything she can to avoid that.
So that's why she goes and just gets random Sharon.
Who has no idea what's going on, isn't a witch by any means, shape, or form, but she has a beautiful garden. So she's like, I can play this off. She has a green thumb with this garden. She'll be fine. She's our Earth Witch.
It's so good. I love it. I thought it was just a funny little thing there.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I love it because they're going to be able to tell the rest of this story on the Witch's Road with this character being the audience. We are all now Kitty following the Witch's Road, having no idea what's going on and going to have everything explained to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
I like that.
To get characters like that.
Mm-hmm. Depending on the show.
I mean, depending on how well it's done, but I like the idea of having a character that kind of is the audience that you can kind of explain stuff to.
Well, to a point, because we do also have Teen, who is going to also ask those a lot of those same questions.
But Teen knows
going to ask
of what's going on. He's done
but
research.
Sharon's going to ask a lot more about it. I agree.
Yeah. And then they start singing the Ballad of the Witch's Road, which, by the way, is fantastic, and their voices are great, and it's such a good song, and it's haunting, and it's beautiful, and it's fantastic.
And I love Sharon just like, am I supposed to know this? She literally, while they're singing, is like, am I supposed to know this song?
And by the way, if you watch the performance from D23 and you specifically watch Kitty, she almost never sings during that too, because she's playing up that portion of her character that has no idea what's going on.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
But yeah, and nothing happens. Meanwhile, upstairs, Joe Locke is taking care of the rabbit.
Teen.
Joe Locke, same difference. Teen is taking care of the rabbit, and he looks outside, and the Salem 7 are coming. The hooded figures. We even get a really up-close look at one of them in the work that they did on the face for the Salem 7 of that one character that we got to see is fantastic. It's got like black rat mask. Very cool looking.
So creepy.
So I'm excited to see what we're going to get from the Salem 7 going forward. If we get anything else from the Salem 7. Agatha then starts becoming an app. What's that?
I feel like we will.
I assume so. I mean, I would hate for them to introduce the Salem 7 and then not do anything else with them after this.
Yeah.
But who knows if they can get done. We may not see them again until the finale.
It's true.
Once they get off the Witch's Road.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to be on the Witch's Road for every episode until the finale?
I would assume not. I would assume almost everything from here on out is probably going to be the Witch's Road.
Okay.
I think we're going to have, because remember, you got to have an episode with each witch is probably going to have their trial. Because the reason why you need a witch of each different discipline is kind of like each discipline has their own trial attributed to it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have 6 witches, you have essentially 5 witches on this road. You have 6 witches if you include Kitty, but Kitty's not really going to be doing anything. So you have 5 witches, which is Rio Vidal, Jennifer Kale, Alice Wu, Agatha, and Teen. So you assume each of them is going to have their own trial. So that puts us to episode 6.
And what's her face? Patty LuPone's character. Lila.
Oh, Lilia Calderu. So that puts us at episode 8. So I think if you fill one episode per with each of them, I think you get us to episode 8. And then episode 9 is the finale.
Plus, you're going to have at least one flashback episode for Agatha for some stuff that went down in her past.
That's probably going to be the Agatha-themed episode on the Witch's Road, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, yeah, and then everybody else is going to get their kind of like what their life was about. Yeah. Makes sense.
And then episode 9 will be the finale where her and Rio Vidal have their fight. The Salem 7 are involved as well. Agatha has her power back. I think that's what we're going to see in the finale. Kind of like WandaVision. We didn't get a fight, a fight with WandaVision until the finale. And then it was Agatha versus Scarlet Witch and Vision versus Vision and Monica and the boys versus Hayward and all his goons.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that happening. I can see it being just like that. But Agatha starts to be a complete bitch, calling them all, worthless and no good, and just doing anything she can to get them to blast her with her magic. And Lilia Calderu correctly calls out, "No, don't do this." She's egging us on. She just wants our power.
And that's where you see, where you first see this power. She's like clenching her fist, and then
Yep.
the orange orange starts sparking off her fists.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. It was really well done. Teen comes running downstairs saying, "Are we here? Are we here?" And all of a sudden he goes, "Oh, look, is that the door for the Witch's Road?" And all of a sudden there's a door on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Which was great because it wasn't there in the scene before where we were looking at the Witch's Road. When we were looking at the group of witches, it wasn't there. I love how that happened, where he comes running down the stairs and all of a sudden there it is.
No, they opened it and then he came running down the stairs. Goes, "Oh, is that the way in?" And he ran down the stairs.
Oh, did he? I didn't even know they opened it before.
They were all. It was because they had their singing ceremony. Then they all started yelling at each other and then fighting. And then all of a sudden they look down. They're like, "Oh, it's here!" And they all open. And then they open it up together. And that's when Teen comes running down the stairs. And he goes, "Is that the entrance?" And he just runs down the stairs. And then everybody leaves. And the creepy
crawling the witch.
Down the stairs.
The Salem 7 that's creepy crawling down the stairs is fucking creepy.
He ring girled down the stairs, and I was like, "Oh."
Such a good episode, such great stuff. They get on the Witch's Road, which is what you can see us in the background here. Is the Witch's Road. I took it right from the episode.
And they all have to leave their shoes behind.
Because apparently, according to Earth magic, you need to be able to connect with the Earth. And so one of the things that a lot of Earth magic users or green witches like to make sure that they don't have shoes on, that they connect with nature through their feet.
Oh yeah, that makes so much sense.
Listen, I don't knock your belief, don't knock their beliefs.
Oh, because their beliefs is utter bullshit.
It's not.
There's no such thing as witches.
There are. We're literally watching a TV show about them.
There's no such thing as real witches. Is that better?
No, because I have friends who practice.
Yeah, but have you ever seen them do do something that's actually magic, other than pull a card out front and behind your ear or a coin?
No, that's a magician, not a magic. Are you getting magician and magic confused?
No, I'm making fun of people who think they're witches because they can't even do magic like a magician because they don't do anything.
All right, Andre. Well, speaking of people who do magic, let's hear about all the magic that you and Mel do right now.
You can find me on the X at That Canada Guy, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at That Canada. You can find me over on Facebook where I hang out with my girl Mel Ball, where we talk all of stuff, Japanese wrestling, and the local independent wrestling scene over at youtube.com/at Andre and Mel Ball Wrestling Talk. You can also find us in audio form over at aplusproductions.com. On A Plus Productions on Facebook. You can go check us out there for all our Japanese wrestling content and any of my wrestling interviews going forward. We'll all be on there in audio form. Check out, we're going to have a show coming up in the next couple of days. Shop Talk, talking about the RCW show that we had attended last night. And then you can check out all the great content we watch over at stardomworld-world.com, New Japan World, and wrestle-universe.com for all the Japanese wrestling that we watch. All at a good price. I'm saying the best value, Wrestle-Universe, for only $10 American, I think.
You can find me every Tuesday with Ashton Bizarro as we do Taking Over. We talk all things NXT every week, week in and week out. We are on the road to Chicago. October 1st, me and Astrid, well, me at least, will be doing a watch-along for the Chicago show. So I'm very excited for this. We're still trying to line up some guests. We're still doing some stuff. I will be here if nothing else. Ed will be here going ahead and watching along. Maybe Andre, I don't know. I
want to watch Julia versus Roxanne. I'm watching Julia versus Roxanne that night.
You can watch Julia versus Roxanne all you want. You just don't necessarily have to do it on there with us. But you can find me on Twitter.
I think I'm going to.
You can find me on Twitter at EdFries12584. You can find me on the Twitch at twitch.tv/EdFries2002, where I simulcast all of our stuff. We are trying to find out a date for all of the Marvel talks because Thursday night is no good because we have Ring Respect Radio and we have Honor Ramble. So those are no good. We might be doing a late night show on Fridays with a combined show between Japanese Wrestling Update, But Andre's on Japanese Wrestling Update, so we're not sure Fridays are a good fit either.
Well, that's fine. I'm down with going back to back. That's not a problem. It's just Japanese Wrestling Update isn't always live because me and Mel do attend wrestling shows on Fridays. And next Friday, it's going to again be another pre-recorded show like yesterday. So we're going to be at Love for Wrestling. So again, we're probably end up Saturday again next week.
We'll see. We'll continue to let you know as we know on the socials. So if you want to know where we're going to be and when we're going to be on, follow the Our Local Establishment socials at Ole Podcast on Twitter, on Instagram and Threads at Ole Podcast, on YouTube at Our Local Establishment. If you go ahead and subscribe and hit the notify bell, you'll always know when we go live for this show on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/Our Local Establishment. And you can find out when we go live on Twitch for not only this show, but for all of our shows, including Mark interviews, including Taking Over, Ring Respect Radio, Honor Ramble, Taking Over, all kinds of great content. And we've got Bad Blood coverage coming up in a week or two, because that show's coming up. So we're definitely going to be going ahead and covering that in its entirety.
We're covering a Taylor Swift song?
No, we're covering a wrestling pay-per-view. Trust me, if we were covering a Taylor Swift song, Asher would be all over that show.
It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs, actually. And I actually, the Kendrick Lamar version is my favorite version.
This show may air on some Wednesdays if Andre and I are both available and really want to ruin our lives. We may go live with these episodes on a Wednesday night and just go ahead and go live right after the episode ends.
Yeah.
With no new rock stars, with no heavy spoilers, with nothing but what we know.
It's very possible.
Dangerous proposition.
It's gonna. Just tune in and see, ladies and gentlemen.
But we will be covering this week on week. Every week we'll be covering each episode as they happen. Either me and Andre, either just Andre, some combination of us and maybe a special guest or two. We'll be doing these episodes as we can. But we want to thank you all for joining us. I have been OLED. This has been Andre C., the Chief of Police. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.